sorry. Yeah, what did you do? Did you relax? Okay, good. All right, dear. So this week we will continue our Unit 10, okay? So May 4th today, we are going to do the second part of Unit 10, which is page 65, all right? And I would like to know if you had a chance to do the homework I gave you last week. Online practice, Unit 10, vocabulary. Do you remember that? No? And by the way, Jonathan, have you managed to do your project? Let's check it out. Okay, so we will do today page 65, the conversation part. And to introduce our class today, I would like to show you a short video about the pyramids of Giza. Okay, so let's take a look there. I would like you to watch the video and tell me, in your opinion, who built the pyramids? What do you think? Because they are so different and so big, who do you think actually built the pyramids? Okay, so let's take a look. Just a second, okay, guys?
So we're going for a ride around the pyramids. The Great Pyramid was the tallest man-made structure for nearly 4,000 years, only surpassed by a large margin by the Eiffel Tower in 1889.
147 meters high. You are interested by climbing?
Yeah, let's climb it.
But it is not free.
How much? What makes the pyramids even more impressive is that these structures were built over 4,500 years ago. When Egyptians didn't have wheels or steel, the only metal available was copper and copper alloys.
It took about 2 million stones to build that pyramid. Well, I call them stones, giant rocks.
Somewhere between 1.5 and 3 tons each. The pyramids took about 20 to 30 years to make. It's a long time, but if you think about the number of stones, a couple million stones in every pyramid, you'd have to be laying a stone roughly once every 3 minutes. If you consider a regular workday like a 10-hour, 12-hour workday.
Nobody knows how they build it. It's still secret. But a lot of people, they try to do the best to give you some information about how they did it. But we must say it's secret. They did, and they take the secret with them. Nobody knows.
No plans survived to show us how the pyramids were built. So perhaps it's not surprising that this is the subject of countless conspiracy theories involving aliens, time travel, or lost technologies. But there is a less far-fetched myth, which has become widely accepted, that the pyramids were built by slaves. But recent discoveries suggest the pyramid builders were not slaves at all. They were skilled workers. Well-preserved tombs near the pyramids suggest that their hard labor and sacrifice were rewarded. If these workers had been slaves, they would not have received such honorable burials. But how did they actually manage to build the pyramids? One of the things I find really interesting is that the Egyptians didn't know about wheels, so they didn't really even use rollers as far as we can tell. I mean, these rocks would have been carted across the desert on sleds. There's a famous diagram of this giant statue being pulled by 172 men, and that statue would have weighed somewhere on the order of 68 tons or something. This would normally create a lot of friction, but the sand was wetted in front of the sled. Experiments show this would reduce the pulling force required by half. The internal stones of this pyramid are all limestone, which is a bit softer and easier to work. You can imagine them working it with those copper chisels that they had. Some of these blocks may have been actually sawed through using copper saws. Now you wouldn't think that copper could really cut rock, but if you put an abrasive in there like a sand, you could actually wear away the stone. Probably be a very difficult and labor-intensive job. Something that you don't really think about is that when you build a pyramid, you need to build it on level ground. You can actually see there how they had to level out that ground. Well, it's speculated that when the Nile flooded, they put the floodwater into a channel and see where the high parts were. So the inside was made of this limestone. The outside of this pyramid was actually made of granite. Much harder stone. I'm at the Granite Quarry in Aswan, where they would have quarried the stones that were used in the pyramids at Giza. Now that is an incredible feat because this is nearly 1,000 kilometers away from Giza. And when the Nile flooded, water would come right through here so that they could move all the stones quarried here, this granite. They could move this back up to Giza and use it on the pyramids. These would have had to been floated down on rafts. Now, quarrying this would have been really hard. Granite is one of the hardest rocks because it contains quartz. And quartz on the hardness scale is about a 7, where diamond is a 10. So how would you dig a massive trench like that? Basically, the technique was just to smash the dolerite rock into the granite over and over and over again. They would make about 5 millimeters progress per hour. So there is no clear account of how the pyramids were actually built, but the best guess is that ramps were used. And in fact, some ramps have been found on incomplete pyramids, but you can't build just a straight ramp, a long straight ramp, and keep putting the rocks up. I mean, the problem with that is the ramp actually ends up taking up more material than the pyramid itself. I think a ramp which sort of wraps around the pyramids is probably the most likely thing. The top third of the height of the pyramid actually only accounts for about 4% of all the material in the pyramid. That's why it's suspected that levers were actually used to finish off the pyramid, to do the top levels. Now the pyramids have clearly weathered, but in the past they would have been a brighter white because they would have used a white limestone to cover the whole face of that pyramid. And then the very top may have been covered with electrum, which is a mixture of gold and silver. So if you can imagine, that would be a pretty spectacular sight. The reason these pyramids are shaped this way is so they represent sun rays. Imagine what that would have looked like when it was first built, with a shiny metallic top and smooth white finish on all of those sides. I think that would have been a sight to behold. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. I filmed it earlier this year when I was in Egypt. Now I'm currently in Melbourne, Australia, and tomorrow I am flying to the US. In fact, next week I'm actually doing a live show in Alabama with Henry from Minute Physics, Destin from Smarter Every Day, Brady Heron from Number File Periodic Videos and 60 Symbols, and CGP Grey from CGP Grey. Yes, he will actually be there in person. So if you want to come and join us, then check out the link in the doobly-doo. You know, on all of these long flights, I always need something to help me pass the time, and I know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'll be listening to the brand new audiobook from Bill Nye. The book is called Undeniable: Evolution and the Science of Creation, and he actually narrates this book himself, so I can't wait to listen to it. And if you want, you can download this book for free by going to audible.com/veritasium, or you can pick any other book of your choosing for a 1-month free trial. So I really want to thank Audible for their support. They've helped me go to all of these amazing places, and they have hundreds of thousands of audiobooks, so if you love audiobooks, then you should definitely try them out. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you next week.
All right. He speaks a little fast, but you could have an idea, right, of how difficult it might have been to build the pyramids. Right? It's always a secret. It's a mystery. Nobody really knows who built them, right? So that's a big mystery indeed. So now, guys, let's take a look here at our book. I'm trying to open the page here. Just a second. Excellent. Alex is checking out something in the book, and he's very curious about it. Look. And he's sharing with Anna what he found out. So what is he reading about? What is the topic of the book he is reading? Why is he so interested? So here we have the words in the box, and we have their dialogue. So we should try to put the words that are missing here, right, in numbers 1, 2, and 3, and see what they're actually talking about, okay? So let's try to find out. Let's see the beginning, right? So Alex goes, "Hey Anna, I'm glad I ran into you." What's the meaning of this, guys? I'm glad I ran into you. What do you understand by that? So to run into someone is when you meet someone perchance, right? Casually. You are not really planning to meet, but you meet the person. So, oh, I'm glad I met you, but in a way that it was very casual without further planning. Okay. So here he says, oh, I'm glad I ran into you. So I'm happy I met you here. I want to show you something. Look, he is really interested and he wants to share what he is reading. And then Anna goes, oh, what is it? And then he says, this book I just read. So he finished reading the book, okay? And he says, it's about how aliens may have built the pyramids in Egypt, okay? So let's complete here. Which part do you think is missing here? Which part do you think is missing there, guys? What is he saying? Check out this book I just read. Okay, so here we would put letter C. Oh, sorry, guys, my mistake. So let's mark here. Okay, the best option, right? He wants to show the book. So he uses the expression check out, okay? Check out this book I just read. Take a look at this book I just read, okay? Aliens, Alex, what proof is there? Because in the book he just read, it says that they say how the aliens may have built the pyramids. So it's just a theory. It's not something for sure. They're just talking here about a theory, a supposition, okay? So let's highlight this here. Look, oh man, sorry. So let's mark here. Okay, so here I'm supposing that something happened, and I don't know, but I believe it was the aliens, right? So the idea is really a probability in the past. So how the aliens may have built the pyramids in Egypt. Then Anna goes, aliens, Alex, what proof is there? What evidence is there? Well, there is not really any evidence, but people couldn't have built them. So here again, he's using um, probability situation to talk about a past that he isn't sure. So he's saying, oh, people couldn't have built them. So he's making deductions about the past, okay? So in his opinion, it would have been impossible for people to build the pyramids. So that's why he's saying, oh, people couldn't have built them. They didn't have the to move those heavy stones. So which option do you think it should be here? A or B? Excellent. Letter A. So let's put there. They didn't have the technology. to move those heavy stones. Great. So Anna says, so it must have been aliens, is that it? So here, Anna is also making a deduction about the past. She's saying then, okay, so as a conclusion, it must have been aliens. Is that it? And then she confirms, right? Because she's not so sure. So let's see here. Okay. Then Alex completes exactly. Plus, the book talks about how the aliens taught the Egyptians how to read and write. Wow. The book even goes further to say that the Egyptians actually had contact with the aliens in a way to learn how to read and write from them. Wow. They couldn't have learned on their own. Look, another deduction. Okay. So he's saying here, it's impossible that they learned on their own. On their own means alone, by themselves, okay? So here Alex says it was impossible for the Egyptians to have learned how to write, how to read alone. So that's how he says it. They couldn't have learned on their own. So there is no other explanation. So as you notice, guys, all these are deductions, suppositions, probability. Nothing is really proved, okay? And then Anna says, oh, if you say so, okay? So if you are telling me, okay, right? More or less like this. So then that would be option B here. Oh, sorry guys. I always forget that I need to change the pens so we can write better. So here. Oh, if you say so, it means, okay, if you are saying, all right. So Alex goes on and says, you can borrow the book if you want. So borrow is to keep something temporarily. So you can get the book to read if you want. I can borrow you. I can lend you, sorry. Okay. I can lend you the book if you want. So you can borrow. Okay. Then we can talk about it later. So the reason why Alex wants to lend Anna the book is so that they can discuss about it later. And then Anna says, that's okay. Why don't you keep it? So is Anna interested in reading that book? Is she as excited as Alex about it? No, not really, right? So she says, oh, that's okay. Why don't you keep it? Okay, you stay with the book, you keep the book, and I will try to maybe watch a video or something. She might have said that, okay? So, but in reality, Alex is super excited about the topic, right? Like many people, when they start studying about the pyramids, it's really curious, right? How they could build such a big construction. How could they put those stones together in such a symmetric way that, they are still there today, right? They haven't collapsed. That's really something to think about. So let's take a look at the audio then. Let's listen to the audio and check our answers, okay? So
I'm glad I ran into you. I want to show you something.
Oh? What is it?
Check out this book I just read. It's about how the aliens may have built the pyramids in Egypt.
Aliens, Alex? What proof is there?
Well, there's not really any evidence. But people couldn't have built them. They didn't have the technology to move those heavy stones.
So it must have been aliens, is that it?
Exactly. Plus, the book talks about how the aliens taught the Egyptians how to read and write. They couldn't have learned on their own, so there's no other explanation.
If you say so.
You can borrow the book if you want. Then we can talk about it later.
That's okay. Why don't you keep it?
Okay, so let's listen one more time, okay?
Conversation. Complete the conversation. Then listen and check your answers. Practice the conversation with a partner.
Hey, Anna. I'm glad I ran into you. I want to show you something.
Oh? What is it?
Check out this book I just read. It's about how the aliens may have built the pyramids in Egypt.
Aliens, Alex? What proof is there?
Well, there's not really any evidence. But people couldn't have built them. They didn't have the technology to move those heavy stones.
So it must have been aliens, is that it?
Exactly. Plus, the book talks about how the aliens taught the Egyptians how to read and write. They couldn't have learned on their own, so there's no other explanation.
If you say so.
You can borrow the book if you want. Then we can talk about it later.
That's okay. Why don't you keep it?
All right, people. Yes, Jonathan shared something here about the pyramids. He said those buildings were made during decades, sometimes the entire lives of the king and the Egyptians. Was one of the most technological civilization and had thousands of years, and most of that technology has been destroyed or lost. Yeah, very nice. Excellent, Jonathan. That's true. Yeah, they were super developed. They were extremely, extremely intelligent. Yeah, and they had enough technology to build those pyramids. That's true, Jonathan. That's really true. I really believe in that too. I think they were super, super advanced. And unfortunately, with time, all that technology has been lost or destroyed. Yes, I agree. Okay, so now let's try to watch the video so we can see their conversation. Yeah, that's true, Jonathan. Exactly. The Romans and the Greek. Yeah, they were from the same time. Exactly. Uh-huh. Until today, everybody asks about it. They really don't know for sure. Okay, great. So let me just go get our video so we can see the students actually speaking and we can see how they interact. Okay, let's.
Hey, Anna. I'm glad I ran into you. I want to show you something.
Oh? What is it?
Check out this book I just read. It's about how the aliens may have built the pyramids in Egypt.
Aliens, Alex? What proof is there?
Oh, well, there's not really any evidence. But people couldn't have built them. They didn't have the technology to move those heavy stones.
So it must have been aliens. Is that it?
Exactly. Plus, the book talks about how the aliens taught the Egyptians how to read and write. They couldn't have learned on their own, so there's no other explanation.
If you say so.
You can borrow the book if you want. Then we can talk about it later.
That's okay. Why don't you keep it?
All right. So she doesn't really believe what he's saying, right? And she doesn't believe in the book either. And Alex is so enthusiastic about the book that he wants to share with her, right? But of course, these are only guesses about what happened. But I'm really I believe the same thing you do, Jonathan. I think these guys, they were really intelligent and they knew how to do it, right? So let's just watch one more time so we can practice the language and the vocabulary of the conversation, okay? So pay attention on how they use intonation, how they ask questions.
Hey, Anna, I'm glad I ran into you. I want to show you something.
Oh, what is it?
Check out this book I just read. It's about how the aliens may have built the pyramids in Egypt.
Aliens, Alex? What proof is there?
Oh, well, there's not really any evidence. But people couldn't have built them. They didn't have the technology to move those heavy stones.
So it must have been aliens. Is that it?
Exactly. Plus, the book talks about how the aliens taught the Egyptians how to read and write. They couldn't have learned on their own, so there's no other explanation.
If you say so.
You can borrow the book if you want. Then we can talk about it later.
That's okay. Why don't you keep it?
Yeah, that was interesting. So let's check out our dialogue again to see some important information there so we can move on to the language practice. Here we should focus on some important expressions they used, right, in the dialogue. So first of all, here when Alex says it's about how aliens may have built the pyramids. So here he is expressing this idea of probability in the past. So in his opinion, it's probable that aliens built the pyramids according to the book he just read, okay? Then the second moment here, he says there is not really any evidence, okay? So there is not any proof that aliens actually built the pyramids. But he says that people couldn't have built them. So in his mind, and according to the book, people couldn't have done such a thing, right? They didn't have the technology to move those heavy stones according to the book. But in reality, I believe they had the technology, right? It's just that we don't have access to that technology anymore because after all the years have passed by, they have been destroyed. Okay? The evidences have been destroyed. Actually, this is what I think, right? So then Anna says, so it must have been aliens, is that it? All right. And then he goes, the book talks about how the aliens taught the Egyptians. Here we have the verb teach in the simple past, okay? So how the aliens taught the Egyptians how to read and write. So he actually believes that they didn't only build the pyramids, but they also helped the Egyptians how to read and how to write. Wow, that's terrible, right? We have a lot of books with the information that the Egyptians were extremely intelligent. So they could have done that on their own, I think. But according to the book and according to Alex, they couldn't have learned on their own. All right. So here we have some other options that we can use to complete the sentences. For example, the first one, get a load of, okay? So get a load of this book is the same as check out this book. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's take some information about this book. So you can use this expression, right? Here in number 2, you could say they didn't have the equipment to move those heavy stones. And in number 3, you could say, I suppose so. I suppose so. It's the same as, oh, okay, I think so. Okay, it's another way to say that you are not absolutely sure about something. Okay, another option here, come see this book I just read. It's also possible to say it, right? In number 2, they didn't have the tools to move those heavy stones. And another way to say that, okay, it can be, is to say, I guess, right? It's the same as I think so, I suppose so, okay? You're not really sure about it. So guys, instead of creating a new line of new possibilities, right? I would like to focus now on the parts in green where they talk about probabilities in the past or when they make deductions about the past. Okay, so let's go to our page on Google Classroom so I can show you some more examples. All right, let's go there. Here we are. Okay, guys, so how do we use models of probability in the past? Let me try to open up the file once again. I have a copy. One is an image, the other one is actually the worksheet. Okay, I think this one is better to see. Can you see that? Yeah? All right. So here we have, guys, we have some examples here in the box, all right? And we have the modals, right? Modal verbs, as you already know, they are auxiliary verbs with a meaning. They have a meaning. They make sense in the sentence, right? And they change the meaning of the sentence depending on which modal verb I use. So here, look, I must have gone to bed, for example, right? So when I use I must have something or you must have something, I'm saying that 95% of the thing was sure or possible. Okay, so must have means 95% of certainty that something was really possible. Okay, oh, like when he said, oh, aliens must have built the pyramids. It's because in his mind, he is 95% sure that aliens actually built the pyramids. Now here, you might have seen a ghost. You might have seen a ghost. When I use might, I'm saying maybe you saw a ghost, okay? Now, another example. He might have taken the money. He might have taken the money, or he could have taken the money, okay? So he could have taken the money has the idea of maybe as well. Maybe he took the money, all right? Now, she may have watched TV. She may have watched TV, for example. The same idea. Maybe she watched TV. And finally, she can't have been at work. She can't have been at work. I'm saying that it's impossible that she was at work. I'm 95% sure that something was not possible. Okay, that's the idea. So just to highlight here, the ones that mean maybe are might, could, and may. Okay, must have I'm 95% sure that something was possible. And can't have, I'm 95% sure that something was not possible. Okay? So look at that, people. We have some examples here. Look, I saw my friend run quickly to school. I saw my friend run quickly to school. So what is the deduction? What is the assumption that I make? Oh, she might have been late. She might have been late. So probably she was late. Okay? Let's see the next one. Hey, all the chocolates are gone. Hey, all the chocolates are gone. So which one do you think matches with that? Here we have the possibilities. Yes, very good. Here, look. Tommy might have eaten them. Tommy might have eaten them. So the situation happened in the past. The chocolates are gone. So what happened? Somebody might have eaten. So maybe Tommy ate the cookies or the chocolates, all right? So here we can draw a line and connect to this one, okay? Now, number 3, I think Stephen drove to work today. I think Stephen drove to work today. What do you think might have happened? What is the best complement here? So the best option here, according to the ones we have here, is no, he can't have driven. Okay, so for some reason, the person doesn't believe he drove to work. So he says or she says, no, he can't have driven. I'm 95% sure that he didn't drive to work. For some reason, that was impossible. Maybe the person knows that Steve or Steven doesn't have a car, or maybe his car is at the repair shop, at the mechanic, so he doesn't have his car available to go to work. So then the person says, no, he can't have driven. No, that's impossible. Okay, so here the best option would be this one, making comments about the situation. Let's see the next one, number 4. The police shot a man in the bank. The police shot a man in the bank. So what is the best complement for this comment? Excellent. He must have been a robber. Very good. There you go. Okay. That's the conclusion we get. We are 95% sure he was a robber, the guy the police shot. Okay, we want to believe that. So, oh, he must have been a robber. Now, number 5. Where did Rob and Kim go on holiday? What do you think? Yes, exactly. Look, they could have flown to Poland. We are talking about two people, and we are trying to guess where they went on holiday. So, what is the possibility here? Oh, they could have flown to Poland. So, maybe they flew to Poland. Okay. And finally, here, who broke the coffee cup yesterday? All right, great. Sarah may have dropped it. Very good. Congratulations. So here we are saying that probably Sarah dropped the coffee cup yesterday. So when I make deductions about a past situation, this is the way I say, right here, I'm not so sure. Maybe, so I can say, oh, Sarah may have dropped it. Okay, but I'm not sure. Okay, guys, so when you are not sure about the past, you can use may or could or might. All right, when you are sure something was possible in the past, we use must plus have and the past participle. And when I am sure something was not possible in the past, I say can't plus have plus the past participle. All right? So if you want, you can take a picture of this. Okay, can I clear my annotations? Yes? Good. I'll clear that. So here we have a very nice summary of the topic, okay? Saying what each modal verb means when I use them in the past. What is the idea, all right? So let's do some exercises here on the platform using those modal verbs, okay? Number one, her last name was Tornator. She been Italian. So here, what do you think? Could, might have, must not, or couldn't. So just for you to remember the structure we use when we make deductions or when we talk about probabilities in the past, okay? The structure is, I'm going to put here on the side, okay? So we put the modal verb. After the modal verb, we have to use the auxiliary have, okay? And the main verb in the past participle, okay? So this is the structure, okay, guys? So example, she must, for example, here I'm using a subject first and then the modal verb, right? So she must have suppose I'm talking about a person who saw a a family member who had already died some time ago. And this person told me the story. Look, I saw my father in my bedroom and he was trying to talk to me, but I couldn't understand. So here, if she says she had this experience with her deceased father, then we can say, oh, she must have seen a ghost, a spirit, of course, right? But just for you to know how we can create sentences making deductions about the past. So if we are 100 or 95% sure, we use must, but then we have to remember to use the auxiliary have and the past participle of the main verb, okay? Another one I can say, for example, she may have seen a ghost when I'm not sure, when I'm just saying, maybe she saw a ghost. So here I, instead of using must, I use may, or I can also use might. Okay, so here, let's go to our exercise. Her last name was Tornator. So she, here we have only the verb in the past participle. So what is missing? Do you think the first one is correct? Could I say she could been Italian? No, I need to have the auxiliary verb have. So here, no. This one, not either this one, and this one either. So look, they are modals, but they don't have the auxiliary have. The only one is might, okay? So she might have been Italian, all right? So now, guys, try to do the second one, okay? It could have been a plane or a balloon, okay? It could have been a plane or a balloon. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So it, what do you think? Here I have the auxiliary verb and the past participle. So I just need to put the modal verb. So if I'm not sure, which one is best to use there? This one is a little bit more difficult because she says here, or he says here, it could have been a plane or a balloon. So she already gives some options here. I'm not sure. It could not have been a UFO, or it might have been a UFO. Do you think that makes sense with the first part? If you say you are not sure, then might is the best one. Okay. It might have been a UFO. Okay. Probability. Excellent. Okay. Now let's see the third one. Tim was only 9 years old in 1998. So he was a boy, a young boy. So he have been married then. So, which modal verb best expresses the idea that it was impossible for him to be married in 1998? He couldn't. Okay? When I say something couldn't have been, I'm saying that it was impossible to be that way. So he couldn't have been married then. Look, he was only 9 years old. He was a boy. So, in my opinion, it's impossible that he was married in 1998. So, when something is impossible in the past, and I believe it was impossible in the past, I say couldn't have. Okay. Now, number 4, Peter have taken this picture. He doesn't have a camera. So, what am I saying here? Was it possible for Peter to take this picture? Do you think he could take this picture? Look, he doesn't have a camera, so it was impossible for him to take this picture. So when I say that something was impossible in the past, what do I use? Exactly, couldn't. Okay, it's the same idea as number 3. I'm saying that something was impossible in the past according to our opinion. Okay, so Peter couldn't have taken this picture. He doesn't have a camera. Okay. Number 5. It could have been the Loch Ness Monster, or it maybe. The idea here is maybe. So, or it could have been a boat. Okay. I'm using the probability idea here. I'm saying that, oh, it could have been the monster, or it could have been a boat. Okay. Number 6. She was wearing a wedding ring in that photo. So she have been married. If she was wearing a wedding ring, what is the deduction? That she was married, right? So then here, she must have been married. Number 7, I'm not sure, but it have been Bigfoot. Whatever it was, it left a huge footprint. So here I'm saying that it's probable. I'm not sure. It's just an idea. So it could have been, very good. It could have been Bigfoot. It's possible. And they couldn't have found a photo of aliens building the pyramids. There is no picture of that. So it may not and must not, they don't make sense. It has to be something affirmative, right? Because I already used the negative here. So they couldn't have found a photo. So it could have been a hoax, right? It's possible that it was a hoax, okay? If there is no picture, I cannot say that it must have been a hoax. I'm not 100% or 95% sure that it was a hoax, but it could have been a hoax, okay? All right, people. Okay, so I will ask you to do this again. All right, can I clear my annotations here? Yes, let me clear. I will ask you to do this for homework again, just like we did here in class, okay? And we will check this next class, all right, people? Just before you go, I would like to take a picture. So, Jayani, I know it's already 52, but let's try to take a picture there. Let me ask her to come in so we can take a picture. Just a second. See you again next class, okay? I hope to see you again on Thursday. Bye-bye. Take care, Jonathan. Take care, Amanda. Take care, Nayara. Okay, take care, Jayani. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.